Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Someone Like Us podcast. I'm Anne.
I'm Joelle.
And I'm me.
We're three friends who found each other in Canada, and this podcast is where we share our journey of exploring identity, love, friendship, career, finances, healing, and everything in between.
We're also here to share the lessons we have learned and the tips that have helped us along the way. We hope you find some comfort from this podcast and that you're not alone in this adulting journey abroad.
And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, feel free to give us that 5-star review. It will really help other people find our podcast and get our message out there. Hi everyone, welcome back to Someone Like Us. Today your host is me. This week we are celebrating Canada Day, so we're talking about what it really felt like coming to Canada, the culture shock, the homesickness, and for you, Joelle and Anne, probably the emotional damage of your first winter coat that is not even nearly warm enough. All right, so let's go back to day one. Ladies, imagine you're back at Toronto Pearson or Vancouver International. You're probably dragging your carry-on suitcase. You have two more suitcases waiting for you. Your jacket is probably either way too thin or way too big, depending on what season you landed. And you also just survived like a 20-hour journey. Do you remember how it felt like when you first landed? Were you anxious, scared, excited, maybe all of it? Or was there a moment where it hit like, oh shit, I'm here?
I came here in summer, in August
Lucky.
2017. So it was, if you've been to Vancouver, summer is the best time in Vancouver. The
Mm-hmm.
sky is always blue, it's sunny. So I didn't have any trouble with anything. I remember that year was Canada 150, so all the national parks
Mm-hmm.
were open for free. The moment I came to Vancouver, my boyfriend and I went straight to Banff because we know that it's free. So I was so
Ooh,
excited to
really?
yeah, I was so excited to go to Banff because I heard that it's really beautiful. Um, yeah.
That's
So
a long drive. So you just landed, whatever,
mm,
how many, like 20 something hours you were like on the plane, and then you went straight to drive. I think it's like 10 hours at least, no?
it was we stopped in the middle. So we didn't drive all the way to
Mm.
Banff. We stopped in the middle. We slept in a tent. So he had some camping gears. He had like sleeping bags, and we packed some food and put it on his car. I think we drove probably 3 to 4 hours, and then we slept. We
Mhm.
camped at the park, and then the next day we drove again. It was fun. I don't know. I wanted to start the episode with something more emotional.
I mean, it's cute. Yeah, it's romantic, but also what a crazy, crazy thing to do. I feel like if I would just landed in Toronto Pearson and somebody was like, me, why don't we go camping in tents? I would be like, no, thank you. I would rather return back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never done that before. And I know that I had to go to school. I landed in Vancouver in August, and the school starts in September. So we have
Hmm.
about a week. I wanted to spend like a week traveling and then a week to settle down and then started school. So it was a fun trip before all the depression and emotions.
So you had a trip and then another trip. So you had two trips in basically like one go. I mean,
Mhm.
it's great. I'm glad you were able to do that. What about you, Joelle? Do you remember your first day?
Oh my God, yeah. I don't know why I chose January to move to
Oh my
Canada,
God.
which is like the
Mm.
worst month.
Oh
And
my God.
it's so insane. Like everyone told me, oh, it's gonna be very cold. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like I have my jackets, I'll be fine. As soon as I landed, nothing works. None of my jackets work. Like I literally had to the first day I landed, I had to go and buy a winter jacket because
Hmm.
none of my warm clothes were working. I was wearing layers and layers. I was like, where did I land? Like, what is this place? I wanted to go back. I was like, can I just hop on the flight and go back? Even though it's been 24 hours, like I don't care. Like I would just go back. But yeah, it was crazy. I had a lot of stuff with me. And the funny thing is that I had so much stuff that I'd asked my mom to also travel with me to Canada to get more stuff with me. So
Oh, that's
imagine
very
me and my
Asian of
mom.
you.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
and
to
my
get these two
mom.
extra suitcases.
Exactly, 4
Mhm,
suitcases. I'm literally moving my life to Canada. So in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna take everything, like
mhm,
stupidest things. Like I've literally had stapler in my backpack. I don't know why I was thinking I would need stationery out of everything in Canada. So I come here and it was really hard. The winter, like it just hits you. I
mhm,
really everything was new, everything like I felt homesick right away. I was
mhm.
very glad my mom was with me, so it wasn't like I was all alone, but yeah, it was yeah, January is the worst month to move. So I was
Mm.
excited to begin with, but when I landed, I was my excitement was gone. It was no more excitement.
Mm.
Have you seen snow before you came to Canada?
I did, but not like the Canadian snow.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
it was nothing. Like I was not prepared.
Yeah,
No one prepared me. This is why we do this podcast. No one prepared me for this.
yeah. No, for sure. For me, I just remember I was hella confused. It was so many people. I literally had no idea where to go. I literally just followed everyone. And I remember in immigration, I'm standing in three lines. I have no idea where each line starts, where each line lands. The way they set it up is so confusing. And it took me hours to go through immigration because I was just standing in the wrong line. Thankfully, some worker flagged me and he was like, "Where are you standing? What are you doing?" And then he like, "Okay, you need to go to that line." So if I ever have a tip, don't just follow blindly everyone else. Ask questions. There probably should be workers there, or if not, just ask people around you.
Mm.
And I think I was really stressed too because I'm just generally a super stressed person. But I was studying on during immigration, where you talk to immigration officer, and then he was trying to scan my fingerprints. But I have eczema, so sometimes my hands peel. So I guess my
Mhm.
skin started peeling. So he was like, every time he's like, try again. I'm trying, try again. I'm trying. I'm like
Yeah.
sweating at this point. For some reason, I thought that they're gonna think that my fingers are fake and they will make me come back home.
Yeah.
So I was like so stressed, but also when I was stressed, I tried to joke around, which is probably not the best combo. For those who don't know, if you are an immigrant coming to Canada on a work permit, there is a section on the work permit that says that you won't be engaging in any sex work, basically. And the immigration officer, he asked me, "Do you have any plans to do any sex work?" And I remember I joked something. I said no, unless they ask or something like that. And then like dude
Me.
didn't even laugh. He literally looked me straight in the eyes. And then the moment he looked me in the eyes and didn't laugh, I was just like, "I'm really sorry. I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. No, I don't have any plans. I just came here to study and that's about it." And then he was like, "Okay, you can go now. But yeah, please don't do that. That was the worst idea that I could actually done. But hey, you know what? At least we made it."
Mm.
But before all of that, of course, you had to figure out how to pack your whole life in two suitcases, or in your case, Joel, in four. Because I remember when I was checking in Moscow, I had only two suitcases, and of course, they were overweight because my mom was packing them. And it was overweight to the point where I had to start taking things out. And my mom bought me like a brand new pot. Firstly, don't bring any pots, please, to Canada. You
Yeah.
won't need them. If you can buy everything here, there's Dollarama. It's very cheap, so don't do that. But I kind of wish that I took it instead because it kind of like in the end would remind me of my mom every time I would cook that. But instead, I just left my mom to bring it back home, so that was kind of sad. And yeah, instead, I wish I just took out like winter jackets because I never wore
Yeah.
them. I just bought new ones in Canada. But
Mm.
what about you guys? What's something you wish you brought from home, and then maybe something you packed, and then looking back, you don't really made sense, like a stapler, for example, Joelle?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Also, I totally agree with you. You know what I should have gotten from India, like the pressure cooker that we use for
Mm,
cooking, because honestly, it's so fast, quick, and the food's so like
mm.
amazing in that. My mom was telling me, "Hey, just put this in your luggage," and I was like, "Nah, I won't need it. I don't even cook." But now, instead of those jackets, I should have just taken the pressure cooker.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get it here too.
It's
Yeah.
expensive. You know how cheap this stuff is back home. Like, I really think I would get
Oh.
everything from there.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
True.
What about you, Anne? Do you have like an item that you regret bringing, or maybe you wish you brought?
I wish I brought more spices from home
Mm,
because
yeah.
it's kind of hard to find it here. I heard a lot about Vancouver. You can find different kinds of Asian cuisines and food, so it should be fine. But I didn't come here to study in Vancouver. I first went to Victoria. It's on Vancouver Island. You have to take a ferry for an hour and a
Mhm.
half to get to Victoria. And there's not a lot of Asian stuff there. There's some, but it's not as, as diverse as Vancouver. So I wish I had brought some spices from home. I don't know about you guys, but I just feel when I came here, nothing tastes good.
Yeah, agreed.
Mhm.
Like
Spices.
at home, my mom would go to a fresh market in our neighborhood and get ingredients every day, like fresh ingredients. When I came here, it everything is frozen. You buy
Mm.
seafood from the frozen section, you buy meat from the supermarket, and those meat could be frozen for months before it's get displayed at the supermarket, so it's not fresh. So chicken didn't taste good, beef didn't
Yeah.
taste good, nothing tastes good, and I couldn't find all the spices that I usually use at home in
Mhm.
Victoria. So I think I lost some weight because I just didn't have an appetite. I wish I had brought more just food because Vietnamese food is just so good. I couldn't find
Yep.
a lot of, well, just so in case no one knows, I'm from the north of Vietnam. I'm from Hanoi. Most of the Vietnamese restaurant and food that you can find in North
Yep.
America is from the south. S-
Yep.
They do serve some similar dishes, but they don't taste the same.
Mhm.
I didn't feel homesick, thank God, but I missed the food a lot. I missed
Mhm.
having breakfast. In Vietnam, you don't make breakfast at home. You can just go out, you buy breakfast. There, and then there's so many options to choose. It's so affordable. And then for lunch, you either pack your lunch or you buy lunch. You can have a bowl of pho. You have pho for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's
Nice.
great.
Yep.
It's great. But here, I have to prepare breakfast. There's not a lot of options other than toast and eggs. I can't eat bacons or meat in the morning. And lunch, I have to find something cheap and put together very quickly. I think food was what stressed me the most about moving to Canada. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, because it was available everywhere in Vietnam. It's so accessible, so affordable. But when I came here,
Yeah,
I
for sure.
realized it's way more expensive and it just doesn't taste like home. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that you said about fresh meat, like I can relate to it. When I was a kid, my dad used to take me to a butcher shop and they would get the chicken and cut it in the
Mhm.
bag and then
Mhm.
give it
Mhm.
to you. And this is the most fresh food I'm having like every single day. And then you move to Canada and it's all frozen and stale and I'm like this
Mm.
doesn't taste good at all.
I know. We had such a
You find
privileged life back home that we didn't realize until we moved here.
Yeah, even things like milk. I was a milk kid. I drank milk for, I don't know, every dinner when I was super young. My parents low-key wished that I would grow very tall if I drink milk a lot.
Mm.
And I really miss milk from Russia. I don't know. It just tastes different, you know? Like milk here, yes, I will drink it, but it's just a different taste. And I miss random things and all food related, like
Mm.
shawarma from Russia, because it just tastes different
Mm.
too. So it's funny how you don't think about those things until you like go somewhere.
Try 3.25% milk. I guess it's the fat that make it taste good.
It's funny because I guess a lot of Asians are lactose intolerant, but I drank milk my whole life and it was fine. But now that I'm older, I am actually lactose
Oh
intolerant.
no.
Yeah, so now I drink lactose free like milk. I don't know. It's kind of tastes like shit to be honest, but
Yeah.
you know what? Like it's better this or like I will have to go to the washroom a lot. So you know what? I'll take the L and I will take the lactose free milk.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
so weird in India. There used to be actually a milkman that would come every morning to give you
Mm,
fresh milk out of like, like the cattle that they have. And that
Mm.
it's so funny because obviously it's illegal in North
mhm,
America. Like but then obviously when you boil it, it becomes pasteurized. So in my household it was so common. A milkman coming in the morning, giving you fresh milk, you boil it and then you drink that milk and it was tasty. I'm not a milk person. Like I didn't like milk growing up, but I do think there was a huge difference. I mean, at this point, like if I go back, I would drink milk all the time. Like it
Mhm.
was
Hmm.
so much more tastier.
It's just fresh.
And like,
It's just fresher.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe someone would say this is not safe, but then, when you grow up somewhere else, your gut bacteria is used to that stuff. So for someone that might be upset their stomach, but for you, because you're so used to it and grew up there, like that would completely be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be stronger.
Hmm. All right, so you survived immigration, you finally stepped outside of the airport, you're breathing in that Canadian air, but there's another whole thing, another adventure is waiting for you, that is finding a place to live. Because renting in Canada can be different from where you're from. For example, when I came here, I had no idea about credit score checks. I had no idea about the background checks. I didn't know anything about that. So, how did you guys navigate your first place here? Like, do you have any horror stories or maybe tips for people who are just starting out?
Um, yeah, it was really hard to rent a place in Toronto. Obviously, I didn't know there was something called as credit score or
Hmm.
they need background checks and old landlords. And I'm like, I'm just so new here. Like, I landed today and I need a place. But yeah, I was trying to find people on Kijiji, and until then, like I was living with my uncle who was kind enough to let me be in his house for like a week. But then after a week, I had to move out. So I was looking on Kijiji and I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I need to find a place. My mom's with me. I need to find a place that allows my mom as well. It's crazy. But somehow, like, I found another immigrant who was looking to rent out a room at her place. And I was like, okay, she understands. Like, she probably moved a month or two ago, and I was like, hey, I'm new, we can meet up, and like I can take you out for coffee and you can meet my mom as well. We're very considerate and like clean and quiet, like we don't want any trouble. And then we met and she was super nice and we hit it off, and I was lucky enough to find her. But there were a lot of creeps and scams as well. There was this one guy who was trying to scam me. He was like, oh, I have this beautiful house, he's sending me pictures, and it was super cheap, which is what
Yep.
was a big red flag for me. It was like,
Hmm.
there's no way this house is like so cheap, because all the other places were super expensive in Toronto. And then he was like,
Hmm.
no, I don't live there. And then he sent me his ID, which was from the US. And I'm like, this is definitely a scam. I'm not sending him money. This is crazy. And he kept asking me, every email I sent him, he kept asking me for money. So, yeah, guys, like, when you're moving to Canada, there's lots of scams and people will
Yep.
try to get
Beware.
you money, and they would just be like, "Oh yeah, I have," like they'll send you pictures. There wouldn't be any place like that. So, yeah, you have to be very careful. I only
If it's too
trusted
good to be true.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Hmm.
only trusted the girl because I met her before, and then also she was also Indian, so it was easier to
Hmm.
talk to her, and then she could understand where I was coming from. So, yeah, like I got lucky, honestly.
Yeah. What about you, Anne? I mean, you came with like to see your boyfriend at that time, right?
Hmm. But he was living in Vancouver, so
Mm.
he has to rent a place in Vancouver. I was lucky. I went to a school in Victoria. His parents lived in Victoria, so
Nice.
they let
Oh.
they let me live in their house, so I didn't have to stress about looking for a place to live. I was happy in their basement slash ground floor. Yeah, but I know a lot of people who came here, they didn't know what to do. They usually stay at an Airbnb for like a week or two before they start looking for a place. Or one of my friends contacted the school and they have a housing coordinator. So they helped her to find a place. She used to live with a family and their house is right next to
Host
the
family?
school. Mhm. It's almost like homestay, an
Mm.
extra room, so they let her rent that room, and it's super close to the school, so it's very convenient for her. So yeah, if you struggle with looking for accommodation, you can reach out to your school. They might have some support assistant program, like a housing coordinator. They could help you for at least, I guess, for 6 months. When you used to the new place, then you can start looking for your own place. Yeah.
I don't know if I got lucky or not, but basically I didn't have to do much. Firstly, if you're looking for a place, you can always check Facebook of your community. For example, Vietnamese in Toronto or Indians in Toronto, Russians in Toronto. There's going to be for sure a Facebook page with
Yeah.
the community where you can reach out and see if anything is available there. The other thing, are a bunch of official websites in Canada like realtor.ca or condos.ca. Those are a little bit more official if you want to check that as well. Otherwise, Marketplace is also a great place to do that. Usually, landlords of older buildings or older homes would go through Facebook Market instead.
Yeah.
Of
Mm.
course, yeah, beware of, like Joel said, scammers. If it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. If somebody is asking, send the money ASAP right away, don't
Yep.
do that, obviously.
Yep.
The way it worked with me is my dad had a friend, and that friend had a sister, and his sister was living in Toronto. So of course my mom, being my mom, is worried about like, oh my God, how are you gonna go there alone? It's better if you go with somebody I trust. Although somebody you trust is somebody that we don't actually know.
Mm.
But hey, like she found a place. She found a place in this area in Toronto that is intersection Jane and Finch. For those who are not from Toronto, this intersection is very notorious.
Yeah.
People think that it's not very safe. But you know what? It was fine for me. I didn't think it was too bad. I still went out and stuff. But what's funny is during the first week of me living there, we had a new roommate that was living in the basement. And he just got in, and then everything was fine. And then I think it's been a week since I came. I'm sitting in the kitchen area and I'm eating whatever I'm eating. And he just comes up and he comes to me and he's like, I'm going to sue our landlord. And I was just like, okay, I'm just trying to have lunch, but okay. And he's like, yeah, are you with me or not? And I was like, I don't think so. I'm pretty happy here. I don't know what's your problem. He's like, oh, she's like racist, blah, blah. I guess like we had Vietnamese people living on the top floor. And then on the bottom floor, there was a family, like Latino family. And then there was him and he was black. And he was like, oh, she's like racist and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to say to it. And then he started getting like more aggressive. He's like, yeah,
Oh
I'm gonna
no.
F her up. And I'm like, mind you, I've been in Canada for 1 week. I'm just trying to eat my freaking lunch. It's a Saturday. I already planned to go for a walk after, and I'm just literally, he's in front of me, and I have to be like, oh, yeah, tell me more, because otherwise I don't know what he's gonna do. So at some point, I was like, cool, 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 cool. Listen, you know what? I've been here for 1 week. I literally said to him, I was like, I'm trying to have a lunch. I don't know what beef you have. Oh, of course, you can call our landlord, and I'm sure like she will be understandable to whatever you have to say. And then fast forward, it was 2 days after our landlord was with us in a house, and he stormed out and he started screaming at her. And then she had to go and hide in one of the other girls' room. She's locked the door.
Oh
He's
my.
banging on her door. I'm like, went to my room right away. I closed it as well. He's banging. I'm like, okay, has somebody called 911? I'm looking at my window. Can I crawl out of the window, just run away or not? But I think the cops ended up coming to get him, and then his car was parked in front of our house for 2 weeks after still. Every time I come home, I would be so scared that he would be sitting in that car. I don't really know what happened after, but I moved out from there after 6 months, I think.
Mm. You say that sometimes you can check your community Facebook group to find a place to rent, but from my experience, it's not the best place all the time. Some of them are good, but some of them trying to take advantage of newcomers who have no ideas. I heard a story from a friend who said that one of her landlord asked her to pay 2 months of rent in advance as a deposit. So when she moved in, she had to technically pay 3 months of rent, and it's wrong. I told her no, it's wrong. I had some experience in real estate, so I'm pretty sure that it's wrong. Like they can only ask you to pay 50% of your monthly rent as a deposit.
Yeah.
But that guy say, oh, it's just to cover a month or two after you move out in case I don't find a tenant to replace you. It's just to cover my expenses. But it's not legal. It's nothing to do with you as a tenant. He just want to save his ass. So yeah, so people out there, just be careful. Even if you meet someone from your same country living in Canada, they can take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Okay, to light it up a little bit, I do have a quick game prepared for us.
Yep.
It's called Canada or Nah. Please excuse me for that name. This is a game where I throw out some Canadian sounding things, and
Mm,
then you can guess if it's real or if it's just a product of my imagination.
mm.
So we're gonna start strong and crazy, and I will let you know that there is a town called Dildo that is located somewhere in Canada. Do you think it is true or not?
No, I would say no. I hope
Uh,
not.
I
I
would say
think so.
no.
You would say no. Well, you are wrong, because that town actually exists, and it exists in Newfoundland and Labrador.
That's
There's an actual
crazy.
town. It's called Dildo, and as far as I know, that people who live there they also make joke of that as well,
Yeah, how unfortunate is that? That's a town's name is
right?
Dildo.
Like, where you
Yeah,
from? Oh, wow, you know what? I'm just like from Dildo. What about you? So that's
that's crazy.
definitely
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't.
shocked.
I want to know who named that street. That's insane.
Mhm, mhm. The next thing will be Justin Bieber statue in Alberta. Do you think it is true or not?
Justin Bieber.
I hope not.
Justin Bieber. It is a beaver with like a
Oh,
Justin Bieber's like haircut and with the microphone.
what?
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. This is AI generated.
It's the Canada no, no.
No,
It's a
no.
no.
Nah, you guys are correct. Ding ding ding. That is a product of my imagination. The next thing, do you think it is from Canada? I don't know if you had them before, the hickory sticks. Do you think it's Canadian or is it available in US too? And if it's real.
I feel like it's a Canada, like probably Canada thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think so. Could be a Canada thing.
It
I
is
never
a
tried
Canada
it.
thing.
Yay!
Yeah, hickory sticks. It is a Canada thing. I didn't want to ask if it's real or not because I'm pretty sure you saw it in every grocery store. But yeah, it is Canadian and it is actually very good. And it's a nice salty snack.
Interesting.
And then the next thing is a Poutine scent air freshener.
Huh? Why would anyone want that?
No, no, that could be wrong. No. Oh, it could be just something dollar store
Cu-
might sell just for
yeah,
fun.
probably
Like
Quebec has it
like
somehow.
Halloween theme store will sell that
Mhm.
kind of stuff or just for fun. So I would say, yeah, maybe it's real.
I think so too, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is not. Such thing
What?
does not exist. But you know
Mhm.
what? I wonder if it'd be in the market. Imagine if we come out with something like that, like a poutine flavored air freshener. I feel
No.
like somebody would buy it. I
Yeah.
feel
You
like that
know,
could be a thing.
when someone from Vietnam asked me to introduce them a Canadian dish, I would not tell them about poutine because
No?
I mean, yeah, I told them, yeah, it's a dish, but
Mhm.
it's not popular. Like maple syrup.
Yeah.
It's a Canadian thing, but it's doesn't mean that every household in Canada will have it.
I wish there was something more Canadian. I'm always like
Mm.
thinking maybe there was something more Canadian.
Yeah, I told my parents Canada is the multicultural country, so you can try different food from the world in Canada. So that's a
Yeah.
Canadian signature. Yeah.
And the last thing is it's another city again, and it's called Moose Jaw. It is located in Saskatchewan. Do you think it's a real thing?
Nah.
I would say yes.
Well, and you would be correct because this is a
What?
real thing. It's a real city. Unfortunately, there's no Moose Jaws, but I heard that there's good hot springs out there.
Mm.
Nice.
I have a fun fact. If you notice all the street names in Canada, there's always a street called Adanac. Do you know why?
No.
No,
Think about it. There's got to be an Adanac in Toronto. There's one in Vancouver too.
I don't know if there's one. Add a neck, maybe like add another neck in there.
So it's the backward of Canada. You say it backward, it Adanac.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, there is one.
Yeah.
You're right. That's so interesting.
Mhm.
that is interesting.
Yeah.
That was
Fun,
definitely a fun fact, and thank you
fun
so
fact.
much for including that. But yeah, that was a quick little game. I hope you had fun with that. And why don't we talk about how multicultural Canada is? Because that's the best thing about Canada, right? It has a crazy multicultural vibe. No matter where you go, you can always find like a remotely taste of home. It cannot always be the perfect, but still, you can find a little bit piece of your culture or even try new cuisines. For example, I never tried any Filipino food until I met my classmate in college, and she introduced me to a Filipino food, and it was the most amazing thing ever. So, what would be your spot in your city that you would recommend to someone new, or maybe the spot where you go when you miss home? It could be a grocery store, maybe that smells like your childhood, or it could be a random hole in the wall that serves the best and real banh mi or chat.
For me, it's really hard to find a Vietnamese restaurant that serve the food from the
Mhm.
north. So luckily in Vancouver, there's two restaurants that serve the kind of dishes that I have at home. One of them looks pretty decent. The chef is actually from Hanoi, so it's solid. And there's another one. It's kind of a hole in the wall restaurant. Very affordable, pretty close to where I live. So I usually go there whenever I miss something from home. They serve some special dishes that you can't really find anywhere else in the city. So it's pretty good. What about you, Joel?
One thing about Toronto is like it's so multicultural. You'll find all kinds of food. I still wouldn't have the perfect spot for my kind of food because India itself is also very multicultural. How you said north and south is so different. The same thing. All parts of India is different. Food
Mhm.
is different. Languages. So I haven't found like the perfect spot for me. But if when I'm feeling homesick, I generally go to this place called Udupi, which is like a South Indian food. It's like comfort food. Whenever I'm sick or I feel homesick, like I just go to that place and I feel like content. And then there's also this place called Stuffed, which
Mm.
is like a grilled cheese, like very heavy sandwich place. And
Mm.
I think it's
Sounds
also
yum.
owned by, yeah, it's really, really good. 10 on 10 recommended. It's like a very yeah, like a very tiny, it's not even a restaurant. You just go and pick up the food and you just go. And yeah, it's also owned by one of the Indian guys and he makes such good food and he makes everything fresh, which is
Mhm.
so good. So yeah, definitely recommend these two places.
For me, it's really hard for me to pick something because I know my parents cook Vietnamese dishes at home, but it's very basic stuff. My mom
Mhm.
is not gonna spend 3 hours and whip out the whole pho for me, so I can just have it, like, twice. So I would say when I was still in Moscow, I would really miss a good pho. So I would always wait to go back home to Vietnam so I can have really good pho. And you said in Canada, there's not a lot of places that would have the northern kind of pho. My mom keeps telling me you should open a restaurant because I kept telling her that
Mm.
there's no such thing. She's like, "Oh, we're gonna come there. We're gonna become cooks, and you can open your own place." And I was just like, that is not really something I really want to do.
Mhm.
If I would recommend pho, there's two places I would recommend. The first one is I don't really know how to pronounce it, but it's called Pho Pasteur. It is not amazing, but it is either open 24/7 or real late. So if you're ever going out to the bar and you need something to get in you before you can go home and be hungover, that would be like your spot. It opens really, really late. You can go there anytime. My favorite Vietnamese place right now has a very weird name in English. It's called Hang Long. It's a little bit weird, but it is just someone else's name. It is located in the near like Western area, Western Station or something. It's really great. It's really really far from downtown, so it's definitely a track. And for Russian food, I honestly live so far away from anything that Russian, so I either order a Polish, like I'll find a Polish or Ukrainian place. But honestly,
Mm.
I found a lady and that lady, she makes like homemade food and stuff, and then
Wow.
she kind of like frozen. So it would be like Russian dumplings, like pelmeni, or like fried, I don't know, meat stuffed meat thing like called chibureki. So I just order from her. She literally brings it to my house, and then I just stuff my freezer and I eat it one by one. So highly recommend if you ever miss your home cooking. There's probably somebody out there who's already cooking from home. So maybe you
Mm.
can find it on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah, I always wish I knew how to cook so I could sell, like have a ghost kitchen and just sell to other people. make a business.
I feel like I like the process of cooking, but the process of cleaning up and how long it takes, that is what annoys me.
No, I hate
Mm.
cooking. I can't.
I don't know if Toronto is the same, but in Vancouver, there's a special area that you can go to. If you want to try Vietnamese food, you can go to Victoria Drive and Kingsway. It's called the Little Saigon area. There's some good restaurants spread out in the city, but most of them concentrated in the Little Saigon area. For Korean food, you gotta go to Coquitlam or Burnaby.
Mm.
And for Indian food, so there's a street for Indian food called Punjabi Market. It's the 3-block commercial district located on Main Street between East 48 and East 51st Avenue. You can find everything you're looking for in Indian food there. For Chinese food, you gotta go to Richmond. It's a city.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's how I kind of navigate my food tour. Whenever I take someone to Vancouver, I will ask, okay, what kind of food you want? Then that's all the location
Mhm.
that I'm gonna give them. And if they want to try Northern Vietnamese food, they can go to Mr.Red. I think they have 2 locations in Vancouver, and Cafe Đặng Anh. That's the hole in the wall restaurant. It doesn't look like the most clean restaurant that you can
Mhm.
find in the city, but their food is very affordable and it's good. They serve the most similar food to what I eat at home. So yeah,
All this food talk's making me so hungry right
I
now.
know. I'm
I
so
know.
scared that the microphone will pick up like my stomach just growling out there. But hey, for everyone, if you are listening to this podcast, firstly, we appreciate you. And secondly, if you have any recommendations, please leave it in the comments. We would love to try it. Maybe we'll do some
Yeah.
episode trying out the things that you recommend. That would be fun as well.
Mhm.
But now that you've been here for quite some time and you have taken your pink glasses off, and now that you know how Canada really is, how do you feel about it? Was it everything that you expected it to be? Because I think for a lot of us, the dream of moving here come with big expectations, and like expectations of being successful and being the best and earn that money, right? And also a bit of pressure to feel grateful all the time
Yeah.
because this country gave us opportunity that we didn't have at home maybe. But the truth is, there are moments for sure that you would feel lonely or sad. So my follow-up question would be, did you ever feel like you made the wrong decision coming here, maybe even for a second, when you think like, why did I come here? And that was for
Mhm.
me as well, especially during COVID. But what about you guys?
I think my experience has been pretty good so far. Overall, it's a good, safe country. It's a multicultural country, so I feel welcome. I don't feel unsafe. But even when you live in the best city in the world, you still see and experience something bad. Nowhere is perfect. For me, it was when I tried to find a job. It's
Mm-hmm.
really hard to find a job in Canada, even if you graduate from a good school. It really depends on the experience you earn during your school. If you want to go to Canada for study, definitely go for a school that offer co-op or internship so that when you graduate, you already have some experience because Canadian employers really appreciate Canadian work experience. It's not like back home when you have a good degree from a good school, you have connection, you can easily find a job. It's not like that here. They appreciate work experience more than a degree. Unless, if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, then obviously your degrees matter. But if you want to work in something more practical like marketing, accounting, a master degree may not be needed. I would say you have to kind of climb all the way from the bottom. I had a degree back in Vietnam, and then when I came here, I got a 2-year diploma from a marketing program in Victoria. But it wasn't enough. It took me a long time until I landed a job, and it's not the best job. I have to keep remind myself that, the first one is always the hardest. The next one will be a little bit easier because I already have some experience on my resume. So I would say definitely go for the school that offer you co-op and internship opportunity, or try to do a lot of volunteering when you're in
Yeah.
school, in whether nonprofit or any charities in your city, just to earn some experience and start making some connection. That's, I think, finding a job, it's the hardest thing.
Yeah, I totally
No,
agree
for
with
sure.
you.
Or have the job secured already. I feel like what Canada advertised before for all these poor students to come here, you're gonna have these great jobs and everything is gonna be amazing. Didn't really say realistically it's not true. I was under the same boat and I was struggling to find a job too. And I have a marketing degree. There are so many marketing degrees, people with marketing diploma out there. I should have researched what kind of job would make me stand out a little bit more than just a basic marketing. And then they don't talk about how your self esteem is so low because your
Yeah.
friends out there at home, they're like directors and managers. They're climbing their corporate ladder. And then you're here at the same age working as a server. So it's definitely something that you need to have some kind of thick skin to go through it and not go absolutely crazy comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah, I was the same. Because when I moved here, I technically left behind all the connection that I built during 4 years in college. I had a lot of connection back home, and my parents also have a really broad network of friends and coworkers. But when I came here, I was no one, and it took me a while to accept the truth and just to start from the bottom. Another tip I would say is, if you find a hard time living in Canada and starting here, you should connect with a teacher. That's what I did. I took a course, it's called market research, and I really liked the instructor. He was really nice and his lecture was always great. So I stayed a little bit late after class to talk to him, and he was really welcome. Like, I think teachers, they love to talk to students here. If you, especially if you go to like a college instead of a university, I don't think it's matter. Teacher welcome students anyway. I told him my struggle, and I hope that, somehow he can give me some direction. And he told me about the job market, and later we talked more about things in life and what I was struggling. And he gave me a really good advice. He said that when he grades students, lots of students came back to him and said, "How come I only have 70? How come I only have 85?" And his answer was, "You earn 80 and you earn 75. You start from zero and you earned it." Lots of people
Mm.
think that they start from 100 and they losing points instead of
Mm.
earn points. Whenever I feel hard in life, I would think about his advice and then try to stand up and feel better about myself. I think it's kind of changed your perspective. You came this far, you work hard, and just keep doing, keep pushing, instead of saying, "Oh yeah, I'm not good enough. I'm not I'm nothing compared to people out there. I'm missing something." Then that would just put you in a really, really dark place. Yeah.
That's such a good advice, really.
Mhm.
Like
No,
sometimes you get stuck
honestly.
in comparing with
Mhm.
like
Hmm.
people from back home, like
Mhm.
expectations from your parents. Like it's so much weight that you already have on yourself. And yes, I totally agree with you guys. The job thing was the hardest, but I also think making friends was the hardest
Mm.
part
Hmm.
as well.
True.
I was losing all my friends. I At one point I felt like there's so many parts of me which is so close to so many friends that I've made over the years. My high school best friends, I have like my college friends, and all of them now are all over the world. And I just felt I was lost for a little bit. And
Mhm.
making friends in Canada is not easy at all. People say, yeah, we'll hang out, but that never happens. And
Mhm.
Yeah. And there's also a difference between somebody, like finding somebody who you know and finding an actual friend, right?
yeah,
Like I can have friends to go out with, I can have friends to go eat with, or I can have friends to sit at home with. And it's very hard to get actually tight with someone.
yeah, and
Mhm.
that's what I keep telling Anne, that building community has become such an important to me now, especially when I'm in my 30s. It's just because finding your people it's like your found family. And I think that's what gives me happiness at the end of the day. And I feel like that's so important. Like, you can have your job, you can have a partner, but you still need a group of people that would be there for you when you need them.
Yeah, we social creatures. We need friends. When I first moved here, I also missed some friends. I have high school friends, I have college friends, but they, again, all over the place. And I could still chat with them, text them. But when you experience something hard in your life, you want to be with someone in person. It's hard to make friends in your 30. So it's even harder when you make friends in your 30 in a different country, speaking a different language. Yeah, so making friends is
Yeah.
definitely a hard thing. I don't think it's just immigrants, but even Canadian find it hard to make friends too when they move to a new city.
No, for sure. I think like what I found true with most of people who are from Canada is you obviously establish your friendship in your school, right? And then whatever
Yeah.
started in school, this is what goes with you through life. So people
Mhm.
are very tight with their school cliques. So when they meet somebody new, of course we could be friendly, we could be whatever, but we're still not going to be as close as you're going to be with your school
Mhm.
friends. And that works the same with us. We had all these friends back home, and then we came here. But also there's another layer of that you won't be able to be the same friends with your friends from home because you also have your own life, you have your own things to go through, you have your own struggles here, then you have time zones. So you're trying to find a new
Yeah.
life here, you're trying to grasp your old friend as well, but it's just like not possible to be
Mhm.
still be the same friends that you were before. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of change. So in the end you kind of think like, do I actually have friends at all, like because my friends are there and we're not as friendly anymore. Here I'm struggling to find friends too, so it's just like who can be friends with me? Like, who can I be friends with, basically?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, other than that, you have to learn so many things in terms of paperwork. Oh my god.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't wanna pay for an agency, so I did all my paperwork by myself. I have to read through so many pages of
Me
went through
too.
so
And I cried
many.
so many nights.
I love
Yeah.
paperwork. I really do love paperwork.
Oh my god. You're
Really?
weird.
Yeah,
I
You're
cried
weird.
so many nights. And I don't know, for those who don't know, like Canadian government website is a little bit crazy. It will
yeah,
say one thing in this spot and then this completely different thing in like 1.2 field. And
yeah.
then I remember doing the documents and asking my partner who's Canadian, hey, could you translate me in the real words what that means? And he would be like, I have no idea what that means. So that's
Mhm.
how complicated it is. So the fact that you really like to do it, Joel, it just means that you're gonna do my documents from now on.
Yeah, I really would love to. Like, I swear to all my friends, I always say I love doing paperwork. I also did all my paperwork myself. I just love, I don't know why. I feel like India has prepared me for it because honestly, there was so many forms I filled in India. Like, I feel like my
Mhm.
whole life's been prepared to do paperwork.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with paperwork as well, but I wouldn't say I enjoy doing it. I think so far I have navigate through Canadian travel visa, student visa, work visa, and permanent residency, and also citizenship. So I think, Joel, we can start a business at this point.
We should.
No,
Paperwork, guys.
100%.
Anyone,
Mhm.
Because they're
anyone who needs
earning
it.
really good money. You should look into
Mhm.
how much immigration agencies charge for 30 minutes and you would be surprised.
Wow.
But have you ever had the thought of maybe I should go home? Maybe this is not what I need right now.
I felt
Mm.
lonely for sure, but I've never felt I wanted to leave just because I don't know, like it obviously was hard for the first 6 months or a year, but then I started falling in love with my routine, with the place where I mean, Toronto is honestly the best place to be. It's so multicultural. There are people everywhere, so you don't feel even when you're lonely, you have people around you. And yeah, like after I found work, it just got easier as well. Like I made some work friends and yeah, I just didn't feel like leaving. So
It's been a long time. I think I have a new identity here. I wouldn't say
Hmm.
I would leave here. I actually enjoy my routine. I know where to go, and there's kind of a I enjoy the structure in my life right now, but there's some moment where I feel very depressed. when I feel that people don't appreciate me. I don't know, maybe because I look young and I'm Asian, and sometimes people think that I'm very naive, I'm very inexperienced. They look down on me. That's when I'm very sad. And I thought, you guys have no idea how smart I am in Vietnamese, you know?
Mm.
So at that kind of moment, I do think about moving back home, because when I move home, I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to worry about rent. I don't have to
Right.
worry
True.
about paying
And your
bills.
parents cook for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be so much easy. But again, it's happened only in my weakest moment. When you feel sick, you feel sad. The first thing you think
Hmm.
about is just, oh, I want to go back to my parents. It's just my
Yeah.
natural instinct. But yeah, in general, I think it's a great place to live. It's expensive AF.
Mhm.
But we're young, we'll figure it out. I think we're very lucky to live in a safe, with free healthcare, modern, multicultural country. People can complain about Canada a lot, but I would say that you have to see and experience, live somewhere else, and then when you come back,
Hmm.
you will realize how lucky you are to be in Canada.
Yeah.
No,
Agree.
100%. For me, I think it's funny how my happiness was really connected to like work because, of course, you spend so much time at work, right? Most of the time, I'm pretty sure you're working more than sleeping.
Yeah.
But my lowest was during COVID, where couldn't find a job and everyone was being laid off. This is where I was thinking maybe it is a hint for me that I need to go home. But the thing is, I'm also very proud. And that just being that fact that, like, oh my God, for me, it felt like now I have to crawl back home and everyone would know that I failed, it didn't work out, and here I have to go back home and start over again. I feel the sheer thought of that just made me push through. And now that I have a really good job and I'm happy with that, I realize it makes me happier too. And when your life makes you happier, then you kind of start looking into other things that you make you happy. Now that I love my job, I can explore new hobbies. Now that I work from home, I can go for walks in the evening more. So I
Yeah.
feel like for me, like that is so related to what work experience I had that when I didn't have any job and I didn't have money and I stressed out, I was like, that's it. This country is not for me. But then, if you push through and you, let's say, get lucky and you find a job and, your finances are better, then that's something that you look at the whole life a little bit more in a positive way. So I'm definitely very happy that I came here. I'm definitely happy that I came here instead of, let's say, US. You know what I mean? So it was the right choice of country.
Yeah,
For
100%.
sure.
If you ever actually get homesick a little bit, do you have a go-to trick to deal with that wave of sadness?
Yeah, definitely my friends. The first thing I'm doing is calling my friends, telling them, "Can you get me back to myself? Like, I feel lost. Like, I'm a little depressed. Can we just talk?" And honestly, like, we come up with the most random talks and we are laughing, and I feel back to being myself. So, definitely. And that's why I think having a community or having your people at the end is very important. Like, there's different parts of you that come out with different kind of friends, and you need all
Exactly.
those parts. So definitely, yeah, just talking to them, talking to family helps a lot as well. Like, I call my sister and I'm feeling great.
Mm.
Hmm.
So yeah, just a phone call, like, I think it does the trick for me.
For me, it's the food. Food will curl
Hmm.
everything. If you have the time, you can try cooking. And if you don't, just go to your favorite restaurant that serve the food that you have at home. When I have time, I would actually go to different supermarket, different grocery stores to try to make a bowl of pho at home. And it
Mm,
take a long time and is a lot of effort just to make a bowl of pho. So after that, 8 hours of making the broth, you probably forget
Hmm.
about how homesick you are. You smell all the herbs, and you try the
Hmm.
fruit of your labors. It will help.
Hmm.
For me, it's food. Now I feel like Joelle make me looks really bad because she say she call friends, and for me, I reach out to food. I will call my friends too, but it's hard to call them most of the time because of the time zone difference. And
yeah.
I love my friends, but I understand that they may not understand. They don't live here. They don't understand the struggle that I have right now. It's because it's, you got to live here to really understand what we going through. I don't want to unload my struggle onto my friends either. But yeah, when it's hard, I do have a friend or two to reach out, and food. Yeah.
Yeah, I call my parents every day. I'm that kind of person during lunchtime. So I feel like I just bully that homesickness out with my parents talking to them. I also have friends from back home, but it's a little bit different, right? Because whenever I actually need to say something or maybe call, there's a different time zone. And I'm that type of person who would just finish my work and go and sit on the couch. I feel like I'm more like introverted now, but I have my best friend from Russia. She reaches out to me all the time, and we would schedule calls because how
Mhm.
busy we are. We need to schedule it at a decent time so we can talk.
Yeah.
And then the best part is when your friend tells you the story of other friend or what's happening to them in such like details, and you don't know the person they're talking about, but the fact that they're just telling you and you're getting included in that story as listener, that makes me very happy. I like to
Mhm.
hear about all the details that happened to my friend. For example, it's funny, she has a dog and they have a whole dog park, and that dog is having the beef with other dog, and I'm literally sitting there like, okay, and what that other dog did it bark or did it like bite? This is like kind of stories that is happening in my 30s right now. So that helps me a lot. But I still have thoughts about, oh, I'm not as successful. I'm not as great. And my parents probably want me to be more successful, have more money, and maybe fly them there and fly them here. So, you know, I feel like you will still be sad and you will have these feelings. Of course, go to therapy. This is one thing that we always
Oh, yeah.
recommend. But the other thing is just to know that it is normal, and it is normal to exist with that feeling, whatever you're feeling, and it's normal to do your day-to-day things with that feeling as well.
Go clean your house. It will help distract you from the
Yeah,
depression. And cooking,
true.
doing something with your hands and keep your mind off for a little bit. For me, it helps a lot. Don't just sit on the couch. Your thought will go spiral. It will go somewhere really, really dark. Yeah, just get up and clean the house. It will make you feel better.
Yeah, and nature, guys, like just spend some
Hmm.
time go for a walk.
Nature is
Yeah.
another thing that I'm so grateful for Canada. It's just
Yeah.
so great. You can just go out for
Especially
a
in
walk.
Vancouver, I'm so jealous.
Mm, yeah, there's so many parks that you can go. I know how hard it is just to get out of the house when you're depressed, but I promise the moment you walk out of the door and just inhale some fresh air, walk into a park, see some dogs, see some people, it will make you feel better.
Or get a dog. You can be really depressed and be a couch potato if your dog needs to go out to pee, right? Literally,
Yeah.
like Mochi sometimes is the only thing that makes me get up from bed. So if you get a dog, you will definitely be motivated.
But get a job first because owning a dog in Canada can be expensive.
Yeah, 100%. We have a job security first. And that's a wrap for this Canada Day episode. That was definitely fun. We talked about some fun stuff, some serious stuff. For those who've been living in a different country for a while, please be kind to yourself and to your expectations. You're doing whatever you can, and that's more than enough. And for those who are about to move, don't overthink it. You can't be prepared for everything, so just take one thing at a time. Thank you so much, guys. Please subscribe to our podcast.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.